The predator species mocked humanity. Then a farmer's tools ended their hunt. The Vorthak had always considered themselves the apex predators of the galaxy. Standing 9 feet tall with razor-sharp claws, chitinous armor plating, and mandibles that could crush steel, they had conquered 17 star systems in the past century alone. Their ships prowled the void like metallic beasts, seeking new prey among the lesser species. When their scouts first detected the blue-green world called Earth, the reports made them laugh, a sound like grinding metal that echoed through their war chambers. The dominant species was soft, pink, and pathetically weak. No natural weapons, no armor, no venom. They didn't even have proper claws. "Look at these pitiful creatures," hissed War Prime Kethvar, studying the holographic displays of human settlements. "They cover their vulnerable skin with fabric and build shelters from processed plant matter. They're not even apex predators on their own world." The other Vorthak commanders clicked their mandibles in amusement. Intelligence reports showed that humans were routinely killed by their own planet's creatures, things called bears, sharks, and venomous serpents. Some humans even died from consuming the wrong plants or falling from modest heights. "Shall we harvest them quickly, War Prime?" asked Sub-Commander Thexal. "A single hunting pack could clear an entire continent in days." Kethvar's compound eyes gleamed with predatory satisfaction. "No, we hunt them slowly. Let them experience true terror as we demonstrate the natural order, predator and prey." The first Vorthak hunting parties descended on remote human settlements like living nightmares. Their plasma rifles cut through wooden buildings as if they were paper. Their claws rent metal like cloth. Wherever they landed, they left behind scenes of devastation that sent shockwaves across the human communication networks. The Vorthak intercepted human military transmissions with growing amusement. These creatures actually thought their primitive kinetic weapons could harm beings who had survived the radiation storms of Keth Prime and the acid rains of Vorth Secundus. They watched human soldiers flee in terror as plasma bolts vaporized their cover, their vehicles, their companions. "Observe how they scatter like prey animals," Kethvar transmitted to his hunting packs. "No coordinated resistance, no pack tactics. They truly are the weakest species we've encountered." But as the weeks passed, something began to change. The Iowa Vorthak started losing contact with their forward scouts. Hunting parties that ventured into certain regions simply vanished without sending distress signals. At first, the commanders assumed they were dealing with some previously unknown predator species on the human world. The truth was far more disturbing. Sub-Commander Thexal discovered it firsthand when his pack pursued fleeing humans into a rural area dominated by vast fields and scattered structures. The humans had taken refuge in a large red building, what their databases identified as a barn. It should have been a simple matter to burn them out. Instead, Thexal found himself caught in a maze of metal cables that seemed to appear from nowhere. The more his warriors struggled, the more entangled they became. When they tried to cut through with their claws, the cables only tightened, designed to hold creatures far larger and stronger than any Vorthak. From the shadows emerged a single human, an elderly male with calloused hands and eyes that held no fear, only cold calculation. He carried what appeared to be a primitive chemical projectile weapon, but when Thexal's armor deflected the first shot, the human merely adjusted his aim. The second shot punched through a joint in the chitinous plating. The third found the gap in Thexal's neck armor. The human's weathered face showed no emotion as he systematically eliminated the entire pack with tools designed for managing livestock and clearing fields. Similar reports began filtering in from across the planet. Vorthak warriors found themselves trapped in devices meant for catching feral animals, only scaled up. They were eliminated by humans using implements designed for harvesting crops, butchering livestock, and clearing forests. What the Vorthak had dismissed as primitive agricultural tools proved devastatingly effective against beings who had never encountered such seemingly mundane implements of destruction. The humans called it farm warfare, and it spread across the globe with terrifying efficiency. Rural communities that had been dismissed as easy prey became death traps. Humans who spent their lives working with machinery, chemicals, and large animals proved remarkably adept at adapting their tools for new purposes. War Prime Kethvars Confidence began to waver when he received a transmission from a human settlement his forces had bypassed as too insignificant to bother with. The message was simple: an image of Vorthak armor plating fashioned into what appeared to be decorative wall hangings. The accompanying audio message was delivered in broken but understandable galactic standard. "We thank Vorthak for bringing better materials for farming equipment. Please send more." What truly broke the Vorthak war machine wasn't Earth's military forces. It was the realization that an entire species had looked at the galaxy's most feared predators and seen only another type of pest to be managed. The humans approached the invasion with the same methodical persistence they used to deal with crop-destroying insects or livestock-threatening predators. They studied Vorthak biology and behavior patterns. They identified weaknesses and designed countermeasures. They shared information through their global networks and adapted their techniques based on what worked. Within months, the sight of Vorthak drop ships in the sky was met not with panic, but with farmers checking their modified equipment and preparing for what they called hunting season. The final blow came when human settlements began actively baiting Vorthak hunting parties into prepared kill zones. What the aliens had thought was evidence of human stupidity, their tendency to gather in large groups despite obvious danger, was revealed to be sophisticated tactical planning. War Prime Kethvar received the last transmission from his flagship before the human orbital platforms destroyed it with kinetic impactors launched from converted agricultural mass drivers. The message was brief and devastating in its simplicity. "This is Earth Defense Coalition. Your species has been classified as an invasive pest. Extermination protocols are now in effect. We suggest you find a different galaxy." The Vorthak fleet limped away from the Sol system, their reputation as apex predators forever shattered. Behind them, the humans returned to their fields and livestock, occasionally pausing to examine pieces of alien technology and wondering if they might be useful for the next harvest season. In the war chambers of distant worlds, the story spread. There was a species that looked soft and weak, but they were the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. They hunted not with claws or fangs, but with tools and patience and an unsettling willingness to turn anything into a weapon. They were farmers, and the entire galaxy was their field.